See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. See you later, alligator.
Hey there guys, it's Paul Archer from dronesgetter.com, and today we have on the table a small beast from Emax. The Babyhawk R, a 112mm racing quadcopter that surprised me a lot, especially considering the size of the motors and the frame itself. You might have heard of the older version, the Babyhawk, but they are not the same. This is the racing version, therefore the R in the name, and has a more badass look and better specs. But before we get into details, I have picked the two giveaway winners for the small Ichin E59 drones. Congratulations Aja and Alan. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe because I tend to do giveaways pretty frequently. Let's first see what's in the box. On the box it says that the propellers are 2 inches, and if we open it up, there's the drone itself tightly snug next to the 4-bladed red propellers. A 3 inches version is coming soon, so better subscribe to see that review. At a first sight it looks like a robotical bug from the future. It really seems like a solid build. I got the bind and fly version that comes with an FRsky receiver. The 2-inch propellers are 4-bladed and have small indentations at the end for less tremor, I guess. There's also enough spare items, including a bag of screws in case you lose some. The package also comes with 4 additional spare propellers, a manual for the FRsky camera, and a manual for the drone itself. The best comparison for this is probably the Diaton GT90, a very popular frame currently. The Babyhawk we're reviewing right now is about 20 grams more heavy than the Diaton on the right, and I think that's mainly because the arms for the frame can be replaced and have additional screws, while the Diaton has a one-piece frame. But wait till later in the video, because this drone is a total beast. You probably already know about the infamous capacitor that simply looks out of place. But fortunately enough, even though I crashed it many times and moved it up and down to access the micro USB slot, it didn't even flinch. So I'd say this is in fact not a problem. It comes with a battery strap, which is a nice addition, and a very nice detail is the silicone battery mat. That's useful to keep the battery in place, and frankly you don't find this level of attention to detail in most builds. The good thing about this drone is that even though its parts should be very expensive on their own, the quadcopter itself is quite cheap, and that's because 90% of the parts on this are made by Emax, so they can keep the cost down. So if you're asking yourself if this is worth it, yes, it totally is. You can check out the description for the current price, and I also will have a coupon code for you. The motors are Emax branded, as mentioned, and are 1106 6000 kV. The 3mm arms are replaceable, and the frame is super solid and made out of good quality carbon fiber, although I wish it was a single solid frame without all these screws everywhere. If you want to see what's beneath the canopy better, you have to remove at least 2 screws, loosen 2 more in front, and then raise it up like this for better access. It comes with a 4-in-1 ESC and flight controller stack and a VTX on top. It's interesting that the VTX is sitting on just 3 standoffs. There's a push button on the VTX to change the channels and bands at will. If you long press it, you will get into high power mode. An H will appear on the LCD screen. It's set up by default to be 25 mW and it has 48 channels. If you want to find out more precise specs, there's a link in the description with the page of the product. There's a beeper in the back between the flight controller and VTX. Above the VTX, there's an FRsky receiver that has a tiny button for binding your Tyranids, for example, using the D8 protocol. I forgot to mention the frame has pointed motor guards so that if it crashes, only the propellers break. But the motors are relatively protected, and that's a very good thing. There are rubber dampeners underneath the electronic stack, pretty frequently found in drones that rock 1106 motors. In the front, there's a 600 TVL FRsky camera that can easily be replaced. I'll leave links in the description in case you want to buy a spare one, because I already have lost the lens of mine. The range you can change the angle isn't very permissive, but it's usually enough for over 90% of the pilots, so I don't consider it a minus. It's a good thing this is a CCD camera, because it has more contrast than a standard CMOS camera of this size would have. I like the black version of this drone more because it doesn't show scratches and dirt so easily. The propellers are 2-inch on this model and have a tiny flip-up tip that should help with vibrations. An interesting thing about this drone is that it has been tuned beforehand by experienced pilots and has been tested beforehand. So it isn't just a Chinese copycat that has been released just to make some money. But now let's see how my actual flight experience was. The only bad thing I could say about this drone is that at bigger ranges, I'm talking maybe 100 or 200 plus meters, I have noticed that sometimes the image got worse. But that might just have been because I didn't make the corresponding VTX adjustment to maximize the milliwatts. However, I can't really try doing that right now because I lost my camera lens and I'm waiting for another one. So you'll have to wait for another video. When it comes to flying, well, this thing is a beast again and again, and it flies very smooth, although I'm pretty sucky pilot. It has plenty of power from a 3S battery, and that's what I recommend. I have linked in the description the types of batteries that are best to buy with this. My flight experience was stunning with this little guy. Very easy to carry around and super resilient, although I've crashed it many times. But that was pretty much my mistake. The controls are very responsive and I very much like how it glides in the air, but it's also twitchy and powerful when you need it. I had a lot of fun with it and will still do, even without a camera. I'll probably be trying some acro line of sight. That might be interesting. If you're looking for a solid microframe that can handle strong winds and runs like crazy, this is it. Don't look anymore, check the price in the description if it's up to your pockets, and also see the description if you don't have batteries for it. I'll be doing similar reviews for drones like this, especially the Diaton GT90, so subscribe and hit the bell notification for that, and also to get the future notification from my channel, because YouTube tends to show only vlogs lately. Thanks for watching, see ya later, alligator!
See you later, alligator.